Shout out to my man Jay Hatch and everybody at iStandard Beat Camp.
So we never really had a chance to interview you fully and talk about your career and where you started and where you are now. So let everybody know just from the beginning of your production career, how did you get your first taste of the world of music production?
I used to be a DJ.
Okay.
I was in a crew called the Allies with A-Track and Craze.
Dope.
And we won a bunch of world titles together. We ended up getting a record deal like in 2001. And that was the first time I ever been in a studio. First time I'd seen an SSL or Pro Tools. I've been playing guitar since I was a kid, so I started a band. And then I started making rap beats. That's it. And then now I make rap beats, you know?
Well, we talked to Jim Johnson earlier. We did an interview with him at SAE earlier, and we talked about, because he started as a DJ as well. How do you feel being a DJ has helped you kind of transition into being a producer? Because there's similarities, but there's differences. What do you think's really helped you thus far?
The biggest thing is, like, when you're a DJ, you really listen to everything.
Okay.
Like, as far as looking for samples, the only reason that I could stay up all night just listening to random shit is because I was a DJ. You know what I mean? And now my ear is just tuned to looking for samples. Like, I know I can listen to like 2 seconds of a song and just know, all right, cool, that was recorded. I might find something in this song, and then just skim. You know what I mean? Like that's probably the biggest help. It's like the sound selection. Knowing what works in the club, knowing what people react to, how sounds blend together. You just listen to so much music as a DJ, you know?
Absolutely.
That's like your job.
So when you kind of first started to get your style together and your sound, who were some of the people that influenced you to kind of create your own sound?
I grew up as a jazz kid. Like, been studying jazz my whole life. So Quincy Jones for me was the biggest, that was the biggest one, because he found a way to merge contemporary pop music and still his influences from jazz. I also like Rick Rubin because I grew up listening to Public Enemy and Red Hot Chili Peppers and all that shit.
Who was one of the first first artists you really got into the studio with, or really started to work with on a personal basis?
My first major artist was Wayne. I guess luck is opportunity meeting timing. I heard Oprah say that shit one time. And so the way that I got introduced to the game, and I always like asking people, like, how'd you get in the game? Because there's so many different ways to get in. But my boy Develop, who I was in a DJ crew with, who produced Fireman for Wayne, decided to move to Miami. And Wayne was working at the Hit Factory. And I know, I've been playing guitar, I've been playing keys and all that shit. And I was in a band, the band just broke up, Develop moves out here. He's like, yo, come to the studio, let's work on some music together. I become like his musician guy. And then I meet Street Runner, and I meet like the circle of producers around Wayne.
Right.
And I start playing keys and guitar for all these dudes, and then, I meet Wayne and all that shit. I wasn't really making beats, so it wasn't like a thing. He just knew me from working with a bunch of people, and he was like, man, what the fuck? Like, all these producers I'm getting beats from, like, you're on all this shit anyway, what do you got? Right. So I give him a beat CD with like 10 beats, and he raps on 8 of them.
Wow.
And then that was like 2007, and then,
Well, give them a couple of the titles so they're familiar with some of the records that you did.
Before Carter 3, Light Up My Lala was supposed to be the one. Like, that was supposed to be the single for Carter 3, and then that broke my heart. That was the first record I ever did with a rapper. Boom, that shit hits the internet dead. And then the first actual album cut I got was Mr. Carter. So that instantly kind of like changed my life. Like, the only reason anybody here knows who the fuck I am is because of that record. You know what I mean? Let's be real. And then,
you knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone with that one.
Yeah, I got Wayne and Jay. That was like...
So after working with Wayne, and obviously, still creating that synergy with the circle of the producers that are in the area,
right.
What other people did you start working with locally or nationwide?
I did, like everybody in Young Money I worked with at some point. Like, I did records with Drake and Nicki and Birdman and all these fucking dudes. And then that evolved into like Lupe. The only rapper I haven't really worked with is M and Kanye. Those are like the 2 that I'm just missing.
Well, who do you consider a mentor?
I never had one.
Really?
That's why it's a hard question. Okay. Like, and that's something that I think is super important for people to have. Is someone like, another thing. Like, another entry point that I've met a lot of producers is they get signed by a bigger producer.
Right.
And the bigger producer kind of like schools them to like, look, I got fucked by this, I got fucked by that. This shit worked, this didn't work, and then they get that knowledge. You know what I mean? I never really got that. I just got thrown into like, hey, this is the biggest artist in the world right now, and make some beats. And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Is there any type of advice can you give these guys? Most of these guys are all brand new. Maybe haven't had a chance to get in a studio with an artist, or even had a chance to place a record, or give them just some basic advice, man. And I know you keep it real talk, so give them 100%.
The best advice that I can give you. Give me 2 seconds. All right, hold on. And there's a lot of advice I can give, dude. Like, there's really, like, the most important thing is there's so many ways to get put on. And a lot of ways, I've seen a lot of people get put on that don't need an artist. They don't need that big cosign. They don't need shit. Like, Lex Luger came in with who, Waka Flocka? You know what I mean? Like, bang, and then he's Lex Luger. You know what I mean? It was just like that. And then Mike Will came on with Future. Mustard came on with YG. Like, and you never heard of any of these rappers. They weren't like chasing Wayne and chasing Kanye and all that shit. They got put on with their homies, and fucking next thing you know, they're out of here. So it's really the best honest advice that I can give you is like you have to personally decide what your end goal is. Like, not everybody none of us probably have the same goal. You know what I mean? Like, everybody says, yeah, I want to be producer of the year and shit. But to what aspect do you want to be that? Like, what do you personally want your legacy to be? And stick by that shit. And try and create that vision of that end goal so vivid that you know exactly what the fuck it is. And just go through the motions and get it done. Yeah. Like, that's really the only shit that I remind myself every day. It's like, all right, cool, I need to get on this album. How the fuck am I gonna get on this album? You know, if that's the goal, try and connect the dots. And sometimes the dots just connect themselves. Sometimes, you know, there are no dots.
Did you have the intention to work with Wayne directly when you started doing all that work for hire?
No way. Like, when I met Wayne, I was in a band signed to Columbia, in a rock band. Okay. So I wasn't even like, I loved, you know, I grew up on hip hop and shit, but for me it was like, I'd rather be in a band, playing shows and recording live music than sitting in a laptop and making beats. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's just more fun to like interact with people and create music with people rather than sit in front of my laptop. Absolutely. Which I'm not mad at. I enjoy doing that too. But yeah, no, it wasn't anything that I ever expected that was what it was going to be. But when the opportunity came up, it was at the right time, and I was in the right mind space, and I was hungry, and I was ready, and I would have done anything to get on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We have a something called the Influence Award. You know, obviously infamous over the course of the last 10 years. Put out some amazing records. It's influenced the sound, not only in this area but nationwide and across the world. And he's done some things, and we just want to make sure from producers to producers they understand how much we respect them. And this is called the Influence Award. It's a legend in the making. And Crystals, my man.
Yeah, thank you so much.